In a land stretching from Europe to Asia, stood a force that would shape the world for nearly 7 decades. A nation built in the name of revolution, fortified by ideology, and colored by the greatest ambitions of the 20th century. This is the story of the Soviet Union, a story of hope, fear, triumph, and ultimately a collapse that changed the face of the world. The Soviet Union's roots lie in the collapse of the Russian Empire. In 1917, war, famine, and injustice erupted into revolution. Led by Vladimir Lenin, the Bolsheviks overthrew the provisional government and declared the founding of a new workers' state in 1922. For the first time in history, the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics was born. It was the greatest social and political experiment ever. Under Lenin's reforms, the Soviets attempted to build a modern state through radical change. But his death in 1924 opened the door to a power struggle. And out of that chaos emerged a leader who would shape the course of the Soviet Union for 3 decades: Joseph Stalin. Under Stalin, the Soviet Union underwent the greatest transformation in its history. Tens of millions of workers built factories, dams, railways, and new cities. The results were extraordinary. The Soviet Union became an industrial power in record time. Steel and arms production soared. A once backward nation was transformed into a giant. But behind this progress came an immeasurable price. Peasants were forced into collective farms. Millions starved to death in the Holocaust. Millions more were sent to the gulags. Fear became a part of everyday life. The Soviet Union grew, but sustained by the blood of its own people. In 1941, Hitler launched Operation Barbarossa, the largest invasion in history. The Soviet Union nearly collapsed, but emerged with a force that shocked the world. The Battle of Stalingrad was a turning point. More than 20 million Soviet citizens died in the war, the highest number of any nation. Yet, from this suffering, the Soviet Union emerged victorious. And not just victorious, but a new superpower. The Soviet Union and the United States entered a war that never truly broke out. The Cold War, an arms race, espionage, propaganda wars, proxy wars, and most spectacularly, the space race. The Soviets launched Sputnik, sent Yuri Gagarin into space, and stunned the world. But at home, the economy began to show signs of fatigue. The rigid command system couldn't keep up with the rapidly changing world. From 1964 to 1982, the Soviet Union experienced a period known as the Era of Stagnation. Under Leonid Brezhnev, the country appeared stable, but it was stagnant. Corruption was rampant. Bureaucracy was bloated. Innovation stalled. Economy was inefficient. As the world entered the computer age, the Soviet Union still relied on its old machines. The red giant was crumbling from within. In 1985, a young leader emerged, Mikhail Gorbachev. He brought with him 2 words that would change history: perestroika, economic restructuring, glasnost, political openness. His goal was noble: to save the Soviet Union from decline. But radical reforms opened a Pandora's box. Criticism of the government exploded. The media became free. Dark truths of the past were revealed. Nationalism in the republics revived. Gorbachev tried to heal the Soviet Union. Lithuania took the first step with a declaration of independence. Latvia, Estonia, Georgia, Ukraine, Kazakhstan all joined the uprising. Moscow could no longer hold them back. The Soviet Union, once united by iron and fear, slowly lost its grip. In August 1991, hardliners attempted to overthrow Gorbachev. However, the coup failed after the people took to the streets. By this point, everything had collapsed. The republics, one by one, severed ties with Moscow. On December 25, 1991, Gorbachev announced his resignation. The hammer and sickle flag was lowered from the Kremlin and replaced by the Russian tricolor. The Soviet era was over. The Soviet Union may be gone, but his legacy lives on in geopolitics, conflict, culture, and the memories of millions of people. Collapse is not just the end of a country, but the final turning point of the 20th century. And from the ashes of that red giant, the world we know today was born. The Soviet Union collapsed in 1991, leaving 15 independent former Soviet states. Russia, a vast country spanning 2 continents, holding boundless beauty. The Caucasus Mountains, stunning snow-capped peaks. Lake Baikal, the largest freshwater lake, crystal clear blue water. Moscow, the majestic Kremlin, colorful St. Basil's. St. Petersburg, picturesque canals, classical palaces, romantic cities. Russia, a must-visit destination for beauty lovers. Ukraine, a beautiful country in Eastern Europe. Kyiv, Old Town, golden churches, Soviet architecture. Lviv, old town coffee shops, Austrian architecture. Odessa, coastal city, Potemkin Stairs, Black Sea. Karpat, green mountains, dense forests, traditional villages. Ukraine, a fascinating destination with history and nature. Kazakhstan, a vast country in Central Asia. Almaty, modern city, Tian Shan Mountains. Lake Balkhash, large lake, blue water. Steppe, vast grasslands, wild horses. Baikonur, space center, space history. Kazakhstan, a unique destination with nature and culture. And many more beauties that exist in every country.